Okay, so Jurgen Klopp, he's give it the chop at the end of this season. What are Liverpool going to do? Dearie me. I can see that this is Liverpool's Man United moment, Liverpool's Arsenal moment, when they're good managers, they're great managers, they were more than good, they were great, the best. And that's why they hold these type of managers in such high esteem, because managers like this don't come along too often. You know, Jurgen Klopp done for Liverpool exactly what Ferguson done for United and Wenger done for Arsenal. And it's a little bit of a shame because he's a character in the Premier League. Not particularly my cup of tea, but definitely someone that you would rather in your management group than managing the opposition you're playing against. And so, my question here is, why is it that managerial roles are so hard to come by from the elites? And Mourinho was an elite in his time, but unfortunately he's had too much on his CV to actually put him up there, if I'm going to be honest. And everyone can talk about Mourinho and his Porto days and his Chelsea days and Inter Milan, but if I'm going to be honest, I'm going to assess it, and I'm going to do it manager by manager. It won't be too long, or at least I hope it won't. So Mourinho, when he was at Porto, he already had a European champions squad there. They were UEFA Cup champions, so they weren't no pushovers, and he recruited well. So Victor Bayer in goal, you had Ferreira right back, you had Ricardo Carvalho, you had Pepe, you had Manish, you had Deco, you had Carlos Alberto. You get the picture. So they were already there and thereabouts. Did anyone pick them? No. Weirdly enough, I sort of called it. I was like, I can see Porto winning this. And everyone laughed at me. No, Man United better than them. Real Madrid are better than them. Bayern Munich are better than them. Just because they're better doesn't mean that they're going to win. And this is the thing with Mourinho, is that he didn't quite do the job at Chelsea, did he? In terms of European success. He done the job at Inter Milan, granted, but Inter Milan played the style of football that Mourinho could get on board with. Very score one goal, shut up shop. If we get a second goal, that's it. We're home and dry. You know, they had a good defence, didn't they? Let's have it right. They had a good goalkeeper. They had Cesar in goal. They had Mike on right back. Christian Chivu, Lucio, Cambiasso was in there as well, and they weren't short on firepower. They recruited well with Eto'o and Diego Milito, Wesley Sneijder, and these type of people. Thiago Motta, 7 out of 10 game player, produced every game. And then you take him to Real Madrid, didn't really do it, did he? So, for those reasons, I'll put it, he's a top manager, but he's not elite. So, you go to your Guardiolas. Now, Guardiola, he adopted a Barcelona team that was there and thereabouts, but what he done well was he introduced the youth into the first team, and he brought them through, which Barcelona back then could do, because La Masia was producing quality in abundance. And I'm not just talking about your Iniestas and your Sergio Busquets. I'm even talking about like your Jonathans, your Bojan Kirkiches, your Thiago. Thiago was a bit of a mistake letting him go, but he wanted the football and he weren't getting in front of Xavi or Iniesta, so he had to for his own career. But wherever he's gone, he's been successful. He's won European trophies. He's done the treble twice now. 2 separate teams. Countless champions. Countless domestic trophies. Record-breaking goals and points. So, you'd have to put him up there. But Man City are going to have this problem when they lose him. Then you got, for me, Alex Ferguson. He's top of the tree because he'd done it at the same club for 28 years, something like. To be consistently good at your job at the same club, and the world's biggest at the time, Man United, and winning multiple European champions, record-breaking number of Premier Leagues, done the treble, multiple doubles, serial winners, weren't afraid to cut people, and that's what I liked about Fergie. Is he weren't afraid to cut people. You look at it, Stam, he cut him. Before him, Mark Hughes got cut, Paul Ince got cut, Beckham got cut, Roy Keane got cut. Like, if you weren't doing the job, you was cut. And that's the problem with Man United now, is that they are led by someone that wants to be able to hold authority but can't. Even the fact of what he done with Jadon Sancho, like, Fergie would have been like, that's fine. We didn't buy you for that much. Man United definitely overbought for Sancho. No way was he worth that much. That is the problem with when you get a manager in who thinks money's going to fix the problem, because money don't fix the problem. Money can put a cork in a problem, but it doesn't fix it. And if you want evidence of that, you just got to look at, say, Erling Haaland for 51 million. In his first season, close to 50 goals. And then you've got Jadon Sancho, who was bought for 75 million, who has got as many goals. What was the stat? It was ridiculous. He was like, was it Jadon Sancho or Anthony? Well, I think it was the both of them. I think they've both scored the same amount of goals as someone like Bukayo Saka, who cost Arsenal nothing. The pair of them, between them, goals and assists, and Saka's played them both. Cost them nothing. How much both Anthony and Jadon Sancho? So that's why he's elite. And the reason why Jurgen Klopp's elite is because he spots a good player at a good price. And if he needs to change a system, he'll do it quickly. And he'll do it efficiently. And he sells for profit. I mean, like, the front three of Mane, it was Mane, Sadio Mane. I always get Sane and Mane mixed up. A bit of my dyslexia kicking in there, whatever. So, Mane from Southampton, cheap as chips, job done. Virgil van Dijk from Celtic, cheap as chips, job done. Fabinho, cheap as chips, job done. Roberto Firmino, cheap as chips, job done. No one wanted Mo Salah, come from Roma, cheap as chips, job done. You know, even someone like Jorvik Origi. Anonymous player, but job done. Gini Wijnaldum, cheap as chips, job done. Jordan Henderson, I don't think he was brought in by Klopp, I think he was brought in by Brendan Rodgers, but still kept him, still left with multiple trophies in his trophy cabinet. Jurgen Klopp, he's just one of those managers that, for whatever reason, can spot it. He can spot it. He's got like the golden eye. Can just spot a diamond in the rough, someone that no one else wants to pay any attention to. And he takes this player from obscurity, makes him into a world name. And that's going to be Liverpool's problem, is that the manager they get in next is going to have to be able to not just do all of that, but galvanise the team like Klopp, bring the stadium with him. You know, Klopp quite a few times has called the fan base out and said, no, if you're going to turn up like that, don't bother to turn up at all. Brian Clough, another one, gold with a golden eye. You know, yeah, he knew what he was doing, and it was in a day where £1 million was a lot of money. I think Jerry Francis, he was the first £1 million player. Brian Clough, being, for want of better words, a socialist, he weren't really one for throwing money around. But if it worked, he was going to put his hand in his pocket. And many a good player come through that for his team. Stuart Pearce, Roy Keane, Teddy Sheringham was there. What was it? Brian Dean was there, I think he was. I'd have to go back in the history book for that. My history on Nottingham Forest success in Europe is not limited, but it's not as good as it should be, put it that way. But I know enough about it to know what I'm talking about. These are elites. Just like most things in 21st century, they're a dying breed. Because if you take Ancelotti out of it, you take Guardiola out of it, you take Jurgen Klopp out of it, what elite managers have you got? I'm actually struggling to think now. And I might be a bit premature on that and a bit hasty, because some managers are only just starting out their trade. Like your Eddie Howes, who done a brilliant job down at Bournemouth and doing a fantastic job at Newcastle. And even though Newcastle are the richest club in the world, not throwing money around, just buying wisely. But what, Unai Emery? Yeah, good manager, serial Europa League winner, but elite? I can't say he is. And then who else you got? Point being, so Liverpool and Man City, they're going to be in that niche of trying to find an elite manager to try and keep all of the success that the previous managers brought in. And if they don't do it, they're going to get cut quickly, because when a team goes from being there and thereabouts in winning things to mid-table obscurity, the chairman, who's paying top money for a substandard manager, and the fan base who are used to one manager and their system, and now they've got a new manager who wants to change the system, because coaching is not an exact science. Every coach is different in their own way. You've got many other external factors. As the point being is, make hay while the sun shines, I think is the saying. Make hay while the sun shines, because the sun sets on everyone. Every era has a beginning, a middle and an end, and that's the cycle. That's how it goes. So yeah, Klopp going, and I do believe that the next couple of seasons Guardiola's going to be on his way out, and that's going to leave the Premier League in a fairly predicamental situation where they have lots of money and lots of players wanting to come and play in the Premier League, but it's not going to have the success that it's used to. That's personally what I believe. Anyway, if you feel differently, or you feel like I've missed out on something, let me know. I'll be more than happy to put it in the next video.